Sabo Radio back again. Friday. Don't like releasing podcasts on Friday night for obvious reasons. It's the dump night of the week, but hey, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes, and what can you do? Jets camp, rookie minicamp, I should say, today. Basically, the feel is just different. As you would expect, a new coaching regime, coaching change. Out is Adam Gase, in is Robert Saleh, LaFleur, all the familiar faces, Ulbrich, Greg Knapp, quarterback coach Calabrese. All of them were there. The enthusiasm was at a fever pitch, especially for a rookie camp. Now, obviously, it wasn't just the rookies. There were some other guys there like Guerrero and some of the lower level roster guys. But Wilson, who obviously is subject number one, was the only quarterback. He didn't do anything crazy. Saleh told the media he was just going to run 24 plays of 7-on-7, which they did when the media wasn't there. And it's not a thing where he's trying to hide Wilson from the media. It's just a introductory strategy, which makes complete sense. First day in New Jersey, in New York, why push it? Why do that if you don't have to? Initially, the media time was going to be 30 minutes. It lasted an hour. Stretches, breaking off into individuals, into positionals. We saw Wilson do a lot of, really ho-hum stuff, work into the flat, slants, why sticks. We'll check out some of the video on this podcast. And also, other than the Jets, we'll hit on Aaron Rodgers and the Rangers. Aaron Rodgers with all that stuff with Schefter. I don't know what the hell Schefter's doing. What he said to Dan Patrick the other day, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, was quite revealing. And it's what happens in today's sports news media, where sources really aren't there most of the times. It's just a traffic grab. And taking advantage of doing so on draft day, last Thursday, without a source and admitting it to Dan Patrick, just flat out admitting it, was mind-blowing to me. How could Schefter admit such a thing? And it's kind of being smoothed over. I think he was trending for a little bit when it happened the day of, but it's smoothed over since. It's ESPN. It's the worldwide leader. You're out for traffic. You're out for buzz. You're out for attention. That's the mandate. That's the goal. So we'll get into that a little bit because we gotta keep it real. We gotta discuss the nuance of the actual topic and how reports and sources in today's sports media, any news media, are treated as truth when it needs to be the furthest thing from the case. It blows my mind. I can't even talk about it properly because Twitter, social media is a huge fault in this. To get the attention, you have to scramble. You have to come up with the biggest story, the biggest headline at the right time. You have to be opportunistic. And it's just gradually brought us to this world where sources and reports are treated as truth when it should not be. Instead, we need to have a conversation surrounding sources and reports, not third-party relaying of that news without questioning it, without digging into it yourself. But we'll get to that at the end of the podcast. I don't know if I'll throw it on Jets X Factor YouTube or not. Just started a Sabo Radio YouTube channel because I'm not always limiting myself to just the Jets. Sometimes I have to talk Knicks, Rangers, Schefter, for example, the state of sports media. So I don't know. I don't know if Jets fans will like this stuff on the channel. It'll obviously be on the podcast, wherever you listen to the podcast, iTunes, Megaphone, Spotify, Google, what have you, TuneIn, Stitcher. But I'll just keep the Jets X Factor YouTube to just Jets. And we'll put up full episodes at Sabo Radio on YouTube. And if you're watching right now, On YouTube, you could actually see all the different channel names, the mailbag email, which we'll put out obviously every episode. Always send those mailbag emails in. Robbie.sabo@jetsxfactor.com. ROBBY, like Robbie Anderson. .sabo, S-A-B as in boy O, at jetsxfactor.com. Why was I not Robbie I.E.? I don't know. It's just the way certain people made it, I guess. And the culprits would be my parents. And the Rangers, obviously, all the nonsense that's gone down with Tom Wilson. We'll put a bow on that. Their last game is tomorrow or Sunday. I think it's Sunday against the Bruins. What a disaster with the Rangers, with John Davidson, Jeff Gorton, and all that nonsense. Chris Drury. We have no idea if Drury could lead the way. Glenn Sather's obviously lurking in the shadows. All I could tell as Rangers fans is, hey, at least he's not Isaiah Thomas. But we start with the Jets. Saleh. Well, first of all, Saleh obviously spoke to the media this morning, as did Elijah Moore, who told everyone he and Zach Wilson have been talking every day. He thinks Zach Wilson is a general. That's one of his quotes. He loves his passion for the game. And Elijah Moore is just a ray of sunshine for this team. You know, that's off the field stuff. His on the field stuff is what he provides is incredible. What the Jets receiving group needed more than anything else was that guy who could stretch the edge, threaten the defense's edge. This new NFL, and the Wildcat started it all, you know, in 2008, 2009 with Miami, with the guy from Arkansas. I forget his name. His name is escaping me. But it led to coaches opening their eyes and realizing, hey, the NFL is becoming a lot more pass happy, and it's becoming softer. They're protecting guys a lot more with all the concussion stuff that's going out. In the past, when we ran read options, a defensive end, an outside linebacker in a 3-4 would take off my quarterback's head. He would rip it off permanently. That's not the case anymore. And season by season, Wildcat eventually grew into the zone read with RG3 and Kaepernick and Tebow in Denver. And the zone read eventually grew into the jet sweep, which pretty much every team utilizes. Andy Reid in Kansas City being, chief among them. Look at the success they do. And it's all about deception. East-west, while you're trying to gain chunks north-south. Deception east-west, gain chunks north-south. And that's why the tinier, shiftier receiver is thriving in this league, like a Tyreek Hill. So don't get me wrong. Elijah Moore can do everything. He's a deep threat. He's an excellent route runner. But the roles he'll fill immediately are jet motion guy in LaFleur's system. Whether Crowder's there or not remains to be seen. But he will be the jet motion guy. He could take a handoff or two a game. He could punt return. And he could do everything you ask for out of a Z receiver. But Elijah Moore spoke to the media, back to the point, and was glowing about Saleh, was glowing about Zach Wilson. They also had Elijah Vera Tucker available in the media. He thinks he's going to fit brilliantly in the wide zone scheme. Told us he used to play soccer, which is, he credits that as part of the reason why he's so athletic, quick feet. And of course, Saleh spoke, and then practice started. And all the buzz was Zach Wilson. But before practice started, Saleh had an interesting quote. He forgot he was head coach for a moment. Someone shouted out, the head coach needs to give direction. And he forgot. He forgot he's been promoted, and he's running the entire staff right now. But Saleh's here, and it's a new era. I know the easy thing to do is to claim Wilson will be a bust. The easy thing to do is say same old Jets. Those people take the easy route. That's going with the percentages. The hard thing to do is dig in, watch the film, and try to identify authenticity. Try to identify real football people. And in my opinion, the Jets finally have real football people in the three most important positions in the NFL: GM, head coach, quarterback. Yeah, someone could argue owner is by far the most important, but you can't change owner. And everything the Johnsons are doing has been tremendous. Changing the hierarchy, letting Joe Douglas run the show. So let's put them aside for now. Quarterback, head coach, GM. On draft night, what did Saleh say? It was the most meaningful quote in recent Jets history in my mind. To Zach Wilson, on the phone, right after he got drafted, he assured him, listen, kid, just be yourself. Don't feel the pressure to have to lift us. We will lift you as an organization. That's a football person. And that's what the Jets have been lacking. They have one in Douglas at the GM spot. And I think they have one in Wilson at the quarterback spot. He's a film junkie. He loves the game. He's competitive as hell. His mom's even calling him a savage on Instagram. So having football people who truly understand that the process means everything in this game rather than the results, that the process actually leads to great results, nailing down the right process is the key. So I think Jets fans need to be optimistic, should be optimistic, and should be applauding everything that's going on right now. Here's what Saleh had to say on Zach Wilson prior to day one of rookie minicamp.
He's a young man that's really, he loves football. You guys hear me and Joe obviously talk about it. We want guys who absolutely love football, and he's a guy who loves football. And when you love football, and I'm just not just talking about Zach, but the entire free agency class, the entire draft class, these guys really love football. So when you have a love for football, you're going to do everything you can to help yourself not only get better at it, but you're going to do everything you can to protect it, which means your off the field stuff is going to be right. And so it's this entire group, and to have Zach obviously to and your quarterback to have that mindset where he is just always trying to find a way to get better. It's awesome, but it's something that we want to see out of every single one of our guys.
That specific audio provided by SNY, Jets videos, their Jets specific video account on Twitter. Like I said before, Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson, in contact every day. I forget who it was. Someone asked him, Elijah Moore, what he's doing, how he's acclimated to the area, what he's going to do after minicamp. This short 3-day span, which is today, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday, but Mother's Day, so they're going to be left alone on Sunday. And Elijah Moore basically told us, he said, I'm going to get with Zach Wilson and figure it out once minicamp ends, once rookie minicamp ends, which means he's ready to work.
Oh, no, man, definitely. We've been in contact like almost every day. Despite the fact that, we're both very busy now learning the playbook and just trying to get acclimated, he's someone that wasted no time. As soon as he knew that they got me, I started watching his highlights, started watching mine, just trying to see what I got and what he got. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make him look good and vice versa.
In terms of what we saw on the field, I mean, listen, it's rookie minicamp. There's not much to dissect. There's not much to break down. What can you say? I mean, all you could do is get the numbers out. The fans seem to be most interested in the numbers, which we'll unveil here a little bit. But I'm sure every fan knows Zach Wilson was wearing number 2 on Friday. Nagar, the kicker, he has been assigned number 1. So it looks like Wilson won't go with 1. Because Nagar has been assigned 1 and Chase McLaughlin was cut today. So Nagar will have his shot to battle with Ficken this summer. That should be interesting to watch. All of these numbers are unofficial. Keep that in mind. But Wilson being number 2 is a pretty solid bet at this point, considering Nagar is 1. And they would have given Wilson any number that was not occupied. Elijah Moore's number 8. If you're looking at the screen on YouTube, here they are. And interestingly enough, Carter and Carter the second, they got me on day one. I mixed up the numbers. Put Carter 2 as 32 and Carter as 30, flip-flop it. Carter 2 is 30, taking the Drew Coleman number of the past, the DB, slot corner. And Carter's 32, the running back. More of a running back number, classic running back number, to be honest, over 30. The others, Isaiah Dunn is 36, Brandon Nichols is 25, Jamian Sherwood is 44, Nazaraldine, 45. I got to work on that, pronouncing that name, Nazaraldine. So Sherwood and Nazaraldine, the two lighter linebackers converting from safety, will go 44 and 45. And they're key. You know, I'm going to do my next film review is going to be based on Saleh's defense. And it focuses on these two guys and how flexible this defense is and why he wants it flexible. And how Sherwood and Nazaraldine make that happen. And also LaMarcus Joyner at safety too. What it does is it doesn't force the defense to have to come at a base against 11 personnel. Yes, nickel will always be needed. You'll always need to bring a third corner in, such as Javelin Guidry or Michael Carter II, or even Eccles, who has a chance to compete at the slot. But the flexibility doesn't force Saleh to have to change. But that's for a different day. Sherwood 44, Nazaraldine 45, Nagar 1, Elijah Moore 8, which is a nice looking number. It's going to be weird to see receivers in these single digits, but what are you going to do? I'm kind of on Tom Brady's side with that, especially at the NFL level. Carter, DB 30, Carter 2. See, they got me again. I just messed up. Carter, the running back 32, Carter the second, DB 30. Jason Pinnock from Pitt, 41. AVT, 75. Nice looking guard number. Yeboah, 48. Interesting tight end number. It's not uncommon. Not uncommon over the last decade to see a tight end in the 40s. And then Marshall, the big D tackle, 96. So those are the notable jersey numbers. I think I had a couple of responses that one fan's gonna buy every single jersey. It might have been Matt or Mike, our good friends who run the best comedic Jets Twitter accounts in the world. NYJ_Matt, NYJ_Mike, the Broadway Jets people. One of them is looking to buy every single jersey. I think he's insane. I challenge him to prove it. Let me see if I can find the comments. Yeah, NYJ Mike. I'm buying all of these jerseys. I got to issue a challenge. We got to see that because this guy, I mean, call your favorite China website because you're not going authentic with all 12 or 13 or whatever the count may be. But anyway, moving on to Zach Wilson on the field. I mean, again, there's nothing you could really break down. The kid, I was high on him from the start. I wanted them to make this change. His traits are more translatable to the NFL than any other quarterback in the class. You could see it, and you could see it on the practice field. Here he is right here throwing slants. This is I caught it right after the Elijah Moore slant. I can't give you who he's throwing to, but right on the dime, perfect placement. Yeah, I mean, the placement is perfect. It's against air, it's in shorts, but so you can't really stand and cheer, but it's what you want to see. You don't want to see balls hit the ground in any of these drills, even in 7-on-7. And that's one of the sad things about the Gase Darnold era. Balls frequently hit the ground in 7-on-7 against air, even without the defense out there. I wouldn't say frequently, but it happened far too often. Now he goes to Y stick, hits a Y stick to Yeboah. I don't know who the next tight end is, but He was crisp with everything he did. And you just love to see that on day one. And fans were clamoring for it, and they got as much video as the media could possibly turn out. Here's another one to the flat running backs. Is that Guerrero, I think? A little flat work with Zach Wilson. Guerrero to the running backs. And, I mean, he looks impressive. While he's smaller in stature to other quarterbacks, when you're watching him live, you don't go, whoa, the kid looks small. You don't say that to yourself at all. There he hits Michael Carter in the flat, number 32. Get ready to catch a lot of passes. Michael Carter, the first. Not the second, the first. And I think it's just Guerrero and Michael Carter here rotating. Yeah. There's inside placement from Wilson there on that flat to Guerrero. Not sure if he meant to do that or not. You want to keep it outside there. Here's pretty much where he started with just a little, some footwork drills, throwing to coaches right after the stretches. Nothing crazy here where fireworks are going to go off. I think that's Calabrese talking to him. Greg Knapp is behind him. I mean, if you're a Jets fan who can't get enough of this stuff, you got your fill today. Because Saleh, although he didn't let the media see the 7-on-7, they didn't mind the exposure. They didn't mind the Wilson photos, the Wilson videos, all that good stuff going out on social media, going out in articles, going out on podcasts. As you see the footwork there, it looks easy because there's no competition, but that stuff is not easy. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the other videos that we have are Wilson in his stretch lines, legendary high knees and power skips from Wilson here with the black headband, number 2 red jersey, which you see a coach going across the line. I didn't catch who that was, but that's the enthusiasm that I was referencing earlier. The enthusiasm with the coaches is off the charts compared to the previous regime. Saleh, as soon as the session started, he came over to the media, introduced himself, talked to a bunch of people, and off he went. When stretching was happening, he engaged players. He went up to them, spoke to them, positive attitude. We love what we're doing here. We love life. Let's engage. Let's connect as people. That's his motto. And that's what you love to see. You know, Saleh not having the ego to have to call the defensive plays was the first great sign in my mind. I don't care if the head coach calls offensive or defensive plays, but to not have the ego to feel like you must is a great sign. Here's the video that I was just talking about. Saleh, right in the thick of things with the Jets stretching, smiling, checking things out. Doesn't really engage players on the video, just chatting it up, talking to everybody. But that was going on during the pregame or the pre-session stretches. What can you say? 2 more days for rookie minicamp, some time off, and there goes Wilson doing his pre-stretch stretch routine where he's kind of dancing. I don't know what you'd call this. It's not a karaoke. It's not. There's karaoke. Proper term is a little different than how I pronounce it, but get over it. Let's take a look at the depth chart really quick. And you know what? This needs to be updated. We'll update it for tomorrow's newsletter, which means I have some work tonight. Thanks, everybody. But the depth chart does look deep. There's a lot of bodies. It's 90 plus. Will they sign some veteran guys? Of course. It always happens. Will Sherman be part of the mix? I think there was a report today. I don't remember who it was from that he's close to re-signing with San Fran, but who the hell knows? Quarterback, you got Zach Wilson leading the charge, Mike White, James Morgan. They need a veteran backup. There's no question about it. Unless they feel that good about Mike White. Mike White played well in training camp last year, but I don't think you can go into a season with this situation. You need a veteran guy in the quarterback room. Even more so to take snaps in game if Wilson gets hurt, that veteran guy is even more important to the team in the room, watching film, being that guy to lean on. So look out for Brian Hoyer. We shall see. Running backs, Michael Carter. I'm putting him as RB1. I think he'll be starting come week 1. He obviously won't be starting at the start of OTAs and training camp. OTAs, obviously, I don't think anything's going to happen there, but Saleh strikes me as the guy who'll make all the rookies earn it. I don't think he'll be starting, come training camp, but by week 1, I'm giving him the nod right now. Ty Johnson, number 2, speedster, perfect one-cut guy to be the yin to Michael Carter's yang. It's a nice 1-2 punch there. And then Tevin Coleman as the third guy, the veteran guy who could catch out of the backfield, third down back when needed, who knows the system. The odd man out right now is LaMichael Pirine. I hate to say it. He put a tweet up the other day where he's embracing his underdog role. He said, I love it when they sleep on the kid, something along those lines. And we'll see what happens. Tevin Coleman has a lot of injuries in his recent past, so I don't think Pirine's in danger of getting cut. If all 4 guys remain healthy in August, I expect all 4 guys to make the team. But in terms of a trio, Pirine's number 4. It doesn't mean he won't carry the ball. Think about where LaFleur's coming from. Shanahan. They use backs. They love to use backs. And even Shanahan's dad. In Denver, after Terrell Davis, they rotated backs like mad. Fullback, and yes, I am comfortable putting Trevin Wesco at fullback. With LaFleur's offense, he's going to use a lot of fullback, a lot of H-back, a lot of 12 personnel where Wesco could go in line as the second tight end if you really want that blocking in line. But I'm comfortable enough at this point to label Wesco a fullback. Tight ends, Herndon, Croft, Griffin, Daniel Brown, Kenny Yeboah, and Connor Davis. Got to check those transactions today. Again, we'll update the depth chart. A few moves were made. But the top 3 of Herndon, Croft, and Griffin is pretty solid. Croft as that second tight end. Could block in line, could catch it. He's really versatile. Wide receivers, Corey Davis as the Z, Denzel Mims as the X, Jamison Crowder as the H, as the slot. Elijah Moore is number 4. He will be the H, the slot, next year or even this year, depending on what happens to Crowder. If all four stick around and Crowder sticks around, you could see Moore and Crowder on the field at the same time. That is fine. You could have 2 smaller guys in this current NFL starting. Not even just 11 personnel, but in 21 personnel, in pro personnel. It's not ideal. You want an outside threat, but it's possible. Back in the old days, it wasn't possible. You never wanted to do it. Keelan Cole as number 5, who could do everything. He could play slot. He could play the X, play the Z. He's not a jet motion guy. He's not a guy who could stretch the edge. Berrios can fill that role, but he's not a game breaker like Moore is. Moore is just, every day that passes, the more I get excited about Elijah Moore. I don't like receivers sort of like running back these days where it's not as valuable. They're losing its value. The position is losing its value because they are a dime a dozen, because of the way football is these days. In college, in the NFL, there's so many passing yards that there's so many guys. Passing so easy that the value is starting to lower in terms of that position. So, at first, I didn't hate it. I actually loved it because I knew it could threaten the edge. But generally, taking a receiver that high, I wouldn't love. In this case, I love it. It's my favorite pick of the draft. Hands down. They needed this guy. This receiving group was never complete with Davis, Mims, and Crowder. As good as Crowder is, he cannot do the stuff Moore does, and you need a guy to threaten the defense's edge. You just need it. Berrios is the only other guy, and he's just not a game breaker, like I said. Vincent Smith, Jeff Smith, Cager, Malone, Doxson, who got cut today. So throw him off. Scott, Bailey, Montgomery. Offensive tackles, Becton, Fant, Edoga, McDermott, and the 3 undrafted free agents, Ferguson, Hermans, and Saltez, early on, it looks like he's got good feet, which gives him a good chance at tackle in the NFL. So of all the 3 guys, I give him the best chance to have a fighting chance to make the team. They're good at tackle. Becton, monster, has to stay healthy. Fant is going to be much improved in this wide zone scheme. Interior lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker at the number 1 spot. Yes. And fans who say Douglas should not have traded up for this guy are absolutely out of their minds. Bananas. Crazy town. I don't care that he gave up 2 third-rounders. I don't care that he came away on the wrong side of the draft value chart point system Jimmy Johnson made famous in the early 90s. I don't care. It was a minimal amount, and this guy is a stud. This guy will fit this scheme perfectly, and they needed a guy. They needed an interior lineman that was a can't-miss guy. He's can't-miss. Just like Becton. Those are 2 can't-miss guys, and that's how it begins for an offensive line unit. You need premium talent, which means Douglas has drafted 2 first-round offensive linemen in his first 2 seasons, as many as the Jets have in the previous 14. That's how you start something special. And he also nabbed Carl Lawson, a guy who could fill John Abraham's shoes. They haven't had a legit edge pass rusher since 2005. He put to bed those 2 nasty streaks, those 2 football sins in 2 drafts, 2 off seasons. I can't say enough about those 2 things and why I think this team's future is limitless. Elijah Vera Tucker, AVT, left guard, McGovern, center, Van Rotten, right guard. You got Alex Lewis as the odd man out right now. Will he be on the roster? Come September? Don't know. Dan Feeney, we know he'll be there. Will he be the 4th or 5th? That's the question. Will Cameron Clark step up? Can he overtake Van Roten at right guard? Did Gase just not like Clark? Did he lean on his veterans as he normally does? We saw Gore. Or did Clark struggle last year? We don't know. He was thrown on first teams, I'd say, in practice last year. I'd say a handful of times. Didn't happen often. It didn't see the field, game field, but he was thrown in first, second string teams a handful of times. Let's see what happens there. James Murray, Corey Levin, Tristan Hodge. IDL, Jets interior defensive lineman, stacked. Quinnen Williams, Foley Fatukasi, Sheldon Rankins, Nathan Shepard, the rookie Jonathan Marshall. And then, those 5 will make the team. Most likely, then you got Tanzel Smart and the undrafted free agent, Dwumfor. Yeah, I don't know if I got that one right. Edge players, Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Vinny Curry, Bryce Huff, Kyle Phillips, Jabari Zuniga, Sharif Finch, John Daka, Hamilcar, Rashed Jr. What a great name for an edge player. I don't know if Hamilcar is an edge or a linebacker yet. That remains to be seen. He might be a second-level guy. But regardless, he has a fight ahead of him to make this team. Edge, JFM, and Phillips could also play inside. So, come to think about it, Nathan Shepard isn't totally safe. Neither is Jonathan Marshall, even though he's a drafted rookie. He's nearly safe. Because although JFM and Phillips are labeled at edge, they could shift inside. And JFM will do that frequently in sub-package. What you like, and this is going to go into that film stuff that I do with the flexible D, it's not just about the light Wills or Joyner who could walk down on a slot from his safety spot. It's about the flexible 4-man rush. There are so many looks that Saleh could throw at opposing offensive lines. On sub-packages, get Foley out of there, put JFM to the inside. You got JFM and Quinnen to the inside with Curry and Lawson on the outside. Leave JFM at edge, put Rankins in there, and get Foley out. So you have Rankins and Quinnen on the inside with JFM and Lawson on the outside. Or Rankins and Quinnen on the inside with Lawson and Curry, or Lawson and JFM, or Lawson and Bryce Huff. There's a lot of things they could do. Zuniga is going to have to step it up to see to ensure that he doesn't reach bust label by this August, this September, this October. Linebackers, this competition should be fun. C.J. Mosley, Jared Davis, C.J. Mosley, Mike Davis, Sam. Right now, Blake Cashman is the de facto will, but I have a feeling Saleh, Douglas, Ulbrich want to see Sherwood or Nasruddin, one of the two. I know it's a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder. You can't expect much from either of those rounds, but it's not outlandish either to want one of the two to grab that will position. So I think that's the goal. That's what you want. You want one of those two guys to step up. Hopefully it's Sherwood because they invested a little more, pick 146 as opposed to Nasruddin at 186. But having one of those two guys step up to play will, bump Cashman out of there, will allow Ulbrich and Saleh a lot of freedom to do what they want to do with this defense. Delshon Phillips is pretty much the only backup Mike right now. And I haven't really looked too much into him, but from some of the stuff I've seen, he's been impressive in terms of athleticism. Noah Dawkins, Milo Effler, another UDFA. Cornerbacks, this is going to be the really fun battle this August. Bryce Hall, Bless Austin on the outside. Javelin Guidry, slot. Lamar Jackson on the outside. Corey Ballantine on the outside. Might be able to play a little slot. Michael Carter II could play slot or free safety. And Carter versus Guidry should be very interesting. Jason Pinnock at a Pitt outside. He's only 6 foot, but he's very long. And that's what you want. That's what Saleh wants in his cornerbacks on the outside, to be very long, playing quarters, playing cover 3, get up right in the receiver's face, only to bail, turn those hips, high point the ball. He doesn't really ask his outside corners to have to be incredible athletes in terms of breaking on a dime, being insane with the T-step. If they could be physical, bail, turn the hips early, bail, stay on top, don't let the receiver stack them, and win at the high point, that's what he wants out of his outside corners. And Pinnock could do that. So can Pinnock meet Bryce Hall at the top? We shall see. Brandon Eccles is another kid. Can he play inside and outside? I don't know yet. I know he could play outside. I don't know about inside. It'll be nice if he could play inside as well. Justin Hardy, we know he's a special teams guy, so he won't be playing much corner. Isaiah Dunn, the record-breaking signing bonus for an undrafted free agent. I'm sure they're really rooting for him to make the team, I'll tell you that. Kyron Brown, who was cut today, Zane Lewis. Safeties, pretty straightforward here. May, Joyner, Davis. I think Joyner will win the job over Davis. He's a veteran. Davis coming into the second year still needs a lot of seasoning. Joyner, again, the flexibility. He could start too high with May, walk down, even play man on the slot. If you stick to base against 11 personnel. But Davis will battle Joyner for that second safety spot. Bennett Jackson is number 4. Elijah Campbell, Jordan Peters, and Brendan White, 2 undrafted free agents who were there today. JT Hassel, Saquon Hampton. And then special teams. Ficken, McLaughlin was cut today. Nagar, Braden Mann, Thomas Hennessy, the legendary long snapper. Who obviously will be on the team. He and Braden Mann. Here it is from a distance. And again, we need to update it with the transactions today. But here it is. It looks decent to me. I mean, a lot of people will laugh at that comment. It looks decent or snicker. But to me, it actually looks decent. They're young. There's a lot of hope, and they're building it. Most importantly, they're building it the right way, inside out. Putting the correct amount of resource in the most important positions. If you're going to ask me which positions would you feel more comfortable with going into the season, unsure about, I would tell you cornerback and linebacker. You don't want to go into a season unsure about your O-line. You don't want to go into a season unsure about your quarterback or edge or IDL. Why corner and linebacker? Because a nasty 4-man conventional rush could hide those ills. It could cover up for deficiencies behind them. San Fran is a perfect example. That secondary that ranked first in the league by PFF when they went to the Super Bowl, to me, was not that good. I'd say it was middle of the pack talent-wise, if that. But the reason why they ranked so good statistically was because of that four-man pass rush. And right now, the Jets' four-man pass rush can be scary. Very scary. And they're 7-8 deep. So Douglas, Saleh, they put the correct resources into the team, into this depth chart at this particular time in the program rebuild. And that's got to be an extremely promising sign for all Jets fans. Check out jetsxfactor.com. A lot of stuff coming up. Blew it. I forget what film breakdown he's working on. He's got 2 more Zach Wilson sessions coming out. Hour and a half, 2 hours long. But I think he moved on to some of the other rookies. AVT, Elijah Moore. I know he's working on some stuff. So a lot of it's coming out. Nania still coming with the statistics, with the advanced numbers. Hard. Wighouse, Vitor, Andrew Golden. I think they got some film stuff they're working on. Always look at Sam Krinick on Twitter. We got to get him writing again because he puts up a lot of good stuff on Twitter with the film, but he's got to get it down on paper because when he puts it on paper, it all comes together. So check out jetsxfactor.com. Subscribe today. Become a free member. Join over 1,000 paid subscribers. You know, we got over 20,000 mobile app downloads on Android and the App Store on iTunes, iOS combined. So we got a lot of people to the party. 300,000 monthly readers, over 1,000 paid subscribers. The paid content is tremendous. And it's free. Free trial for the first month. Sabo Radio, check it out. YouTube, all that good stuff I mentioned at the top of the show. Stitcher, TuneIn, Google, iTunes, YouTube, and so on. Jets rookie minicamp rolls on Saturday, and a lot more Zach Wilson content to come from that because the fans can't get enough. But at least, thank God, the jersey numbers have been released. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've seen fans want to see the jersey number, and I get it. You got to get that apparel. You got to get that gear. But remember, these are unofficial numbers. If you get a Zach Wilson jersey, that's number 2 jersey right now, which people are upset about the number 2 jersey as well. They don't like they don't feel it's a great NFL quarterback number, and it really isn't. You know, it's not 16, it's not 12, it's not 11 even, or 10. 7. 7's a classic quarterback jersey. But 2, you know, Johnny Manziel wore 2. Do people not like it because of that comparison? I wouldn't compare Wilson to Manziel in the least. Wilson's such a better passer, so far advanced in terms of his quarterbacking. Manziel was a lot of legs, a lot of magic, and just not a hard worker. He just fell completely off the face of the earth when he was asked to work hard in the NFL and just couldn't get it done. So those comparisons are ridiculous, but a lot of fans not liking number 2. And again, so if you order a jersey from China or wherever you do, where it's custom and it's a Wilson number 2, it's not a sure bet yet. These numbers are unofficial. Do I think he's going to be number 2 by the time week 1 comes? Yes, but they're not official. Elijah Moore at 8 is probably your best bet. To be honest, AVT 75 for sure. But thank God the jersey numbers are out because that question was lingering over everyone's head. And the Jets love to hold that back. I think it's a good move. Fans get pissed about it, but from an organizational standpoint, I think it's a great move because it keeps the attention up. You know, it might be frustrating, but it keeps the attention up, the hype up, the clicks up, the always searching for new information up surrounding the Jets. So I think it's a brilliant move by the organization, even though it's not really fan-friendly. But from other standpoints, the Jets are incredibly fan-friendly with One Jets Drive, the videos they do, social media, even Woody Johnson killing it on his social media account these days. Most people would bet that's not Woody putting out that info. Woody has responded on Twitter saying it is him. So we got to take him at his word. And I think Steve Cohen could learn a thing or two from Woody about how to conduct Twitter as a sports owner, to be honest, because Cohen, asking his fans what his team should do, he gets into certain areas where you don't want to cross, certain lines you don't cross, and it could backfire, as it sort of did with the Portnoy stock nonsense. And he had to take a sabbatical from Twitter for a little bit. But, let's not get off the beaten path here, which quite frequently happens on Sabo Radio. Email us, robbie.sabo@jetsxfactor.com, Robbie with a Y. Ask any question for the mailbag. We'll get to those in the next episode. And we'll try to get the next episode up on Sunday or Monday. It's going to be a quick turnaround because of the minicamp. Until next time.